But how? Well, Harry Truman became the most daring blockade runner in history. Have you heard of the Berlin airlift? On July 26, 1948, 132 U.S. cargo planes began flying 2 trips a day over the Iron Curtain, 110 miles into West Berlin, dropping food, fuel, clothes, and medicine. Stalin's blockade persisted. Truman's airlift persisted. And after nearly a year, Stalin opened the gates. The man from Missouri had won. A tremendous wartime and post-war performance. But as he came up for renomination and re-election, he found that that performance record had built him whole populations of enemies. The labor unions, the Soothe Russia people, the Fight Russia people, the anti-Marshall Plan people, the Get Out of Europe people, the businessmen who saw that he dared to take over a struck industry. And here comes the part of the story that really lifts me right off the floor. As he went up for re-election, everyone was down on him. I mean everyone.
Reporting from Democratic Presidential Nominating Convention here in Philadelphia, I can only say that everything is going wrong with the president's campaign for his party's nomination. The Democrats still openly court Eisenhower for candidate instead of Truman.
Even the convention orchestra was off-key as the keynote speaker. Governor Strom Thurmond of South Carolina and 35 Southern delegates revolted and walked out over Truman's human rights platform plank. Reporters asked why they had not walked out when Franklin D. Roosevelt included nearly the same human rights plank. Thurmond replied, "Because Truman really means it."
Distinguished Democrats are leaving the sinking Truman ship in gangs. Rumor says Justice William O. Douglas will refuse the president's invitation to run as his vice president. The famous Alsop Brothers column says if nominated, Truman will wage the loneliest campaign in history.
Well, did Justice Douglas give any reason why he declined to run with me?
But somehow, in spite of the incredible odds, Harry Truman was grudgingly given his party's nomination to run against confident Republican Thomas E. Dewey of New York. Then Truman's party abandoned him to defeat. Well, they had no campaign funds. No one at first would even accept the job of party treasurer. The press immediately wrote Truman off as loser. Time magazine pulled 50 experts. All predicted a Dewey landslide. Sophisticated political leaders wrote off Truman as, too crude, too jaunty, too friendly, too short, too undignified, and too many wisecracks. The press universally opposed Truman. Time magazine labeled Truman as awkward, uninspired, above all, mediocre. The 3 top pollsters, Roper, Crosley, and Gallup, all predicted Truman the loser. Held against Truman were such things as strikes, rising prices, housing shortage, the Cold War. His closest advisors said, no chance.
Well, Bess, we'll have to go this one alone.
That started the most amazing one-man presidential campaign in U.S. politics. Harry Truman got on a train with his family, and he went to the people. It was his now famous whistle-stop campaign, called the most exhausting ever launched. It covered nearly 32,000 miles, and he made 355 speeches. Well, he went to small villages, small cities, big cities. There were small crowds at first. But then, a fateful event. At one town, he just decided to put aside his speech script, and he just chatted. Real neighborly-like. And you know what? The people just plain liked Harry Truman. It was hard to be mad at a man you called Harry.
My name is Harry Truman. I work for the government, and I'm trying to keep my job. Wonder if you'd help me. There's some people want me unemployed. It's the same crowd that had you unemployed in '33. Give them hell, Harry!
I intend to, Harry Truman answered, and he sure did. It became known as the Give 'em Hell campaign.
The gang that wants to put me out of work once bragged they'd put 2 cars in every garage. Now, it looks like they'll put 2 families in every garage.
Averaging 16 speeches and 16 towns per day, he talked to 15 million people. While Dewey waged a confident, dignified campaign, riding a sure thing, Truman did all the corny things. Uninspired, unoriginal, except for one crucial element that the people noticed. Harry Truman enjoyed it.
Give 'em hell, Harry!
Well, after 32,000 miles of this came election night. Democratic headquarters. Gloomy. No crowds. His party had not ridden his campaign train. Matter of fact, they had avoided him when he came to their cities. Walter Lippmann, Drew Pearson, the Alsop brothers all wrote their election stories early in the evening saying Dewey had won. The Chicago Tribune printed its next day headline, Dewey defeats Truman. The distinguished commentator H.V. Kaltenborn came on the air at 9 p.m. and again at midnight.
Yes, there's bad news for Democrats tonight. While Mr. Truman is still a little ahead, these returns are mostly from a few cities. The returns from the country will show a Dewey landslide.
Yes, I heard, but they're wrong. Don't call me any more tonight, Charlie. I'm going to bed. Just what I said. I'm going to bed.
Awaking next morning, the nation's newspapermen were amazed. Radio newscasters were amazed. Professional politicians, Republicans and Democrats, they were amazed. Everybody had been against Harry, except the voters. The people had elected for their next president a man who understood them and whom they understood, Harry S. Truman. And today, Harry S. Truman is fast rising in popular and professional estimation into that select group of great American presidents. He's one of history's handful. Well, and for me, when everybody's down on me, he's great medicine. Why don't you try him when everybody's down on you?
The preceding program was made possible by a grant from the Ohio Department of Education.